Chapter 3 Silver Wing. Above the roar of the Argos's engines and the clink of fine china, made lightweight for air travel according to our attentive steward, Dr. Sally's conversation makes for pleasant company. She's elegant but not flirtatious. She's pretty and clean and smells of violets. Clever how they do that. With the bump of wheels on the tarmac of the runway, we land at Le Bourget Airport. As I stand to get off, out of the porthole windows I see banners still up proclaiming the landing of the aeroplane Spirit of St. Louis, flown by Charles Lindbergh on the first transatlantic flight a few weeks before our arrival. More period dressing from Miskatonic. From Le Bourget we catch the train into central Paris, which takes 20 minutes. I sit next to Sally, who stares out of the window. I've never been to Paris, but it strikes me how different Paris 27 looks from London 1927. I guess historically places are different, even though by 2027 they're all the same. This Paris even smells different. The odour of Gaulois and Gitanes cigarettes smoked openly by the passengers fills the carriage. I find it pleasant. The sunshine is warm on my face through the glass, and it is wholly possible to forget I'm in a virtual reality game, taken deep under by a patented hallucinogenic, with my senses electronically massaged to see what the game wants me to see, through clever use of the neural net and game goggles, not to mention implanted protein growing in my brain. We arrive at the Gare du Nord in central Paris, and it is as bustling as London Victoria was, but smells and sounds are different. The colours are different too, and the architecture. A porter comes up looking to carry my luggage, but I have none. Dr. Sally has a small case which she could easily carry and which I should offer to lift for her, but she lets the porter take it for a tip of a few centimes. He shows us to a taxi. As I get in next to Sally, unable to ignore her shapely legs, realer than real, as they say, I mutter, "So, where are we going?" She smiles, still looking out of the window, clearly loving virtual Paris in all its spring glory. "We need a base. I thought the George V Hotel would do. Technically, they don't build it until next year, but Miskatonic have played a little loose with the history on that one. It's so grand. When I saw it on the Darkworlds Paris wiki site, I really wanted to stay there. Because? Because it's the grandest hotel in Paris, built for the visit of King George V of England, and all the Anglais and Americans have to stay there. And then we explore. Yes, indeed. Then we look for the dark heart of the Paris infestation. I glance out into the crowds of taxis and cars and horses and delivery wagons. I say, in this sunshine, it doesn't look like it has a dark heart. Preston thinks it has. Maybe it's a wild goose chase. She shrugs. She tells the driver where to go in French, and we set off through the busy streets. As we travel along the Rue Lafayette, I see an Alchemist Shop, the kind I'd visited in Glastonbury in London. I point through the window. I could do with stopping and using their laboratory to make potions. You don't have any. I have some, but I could do with more health and mana, just in case. She laughs. I heard about your weird skill mix. So, you're an alchemist priest. Mixed up, class-wise, really. I took a mix of skills. She nods. I suppose that's the beauty of the game. You can mix so many skills. It allows for some powerful builds. She pauses. Ever make soma, by the way? I shudder. I recall the soma I drank in London and its withdrawal symptoms only too well. I shake my head. Not that shit. Evil muck. She says, it's worth having some to stave off total insanity. You don't want to go warm. I say, maybe, but the withdrawal's too hard. It can be a lifesaver despite the withdrawal. You should make some. She doesn't persuade me, but I pretend she has. I'll think about it. So, can we stop at this alchemy shop? I'd rather go to the hotel first, set up camp, and then look round there. There's a good occult bookshop I want to visit. I study her with interest. Since we're talking skills and classes, I want to know hers. So, what's your class? She smiles, showing a slight line of white teeth between her red rosebud lips. I guess I'm a shadow mage. And you're not crazy. I thought all that magic would send you nuts. I inject a lot of soma. The King George V Hotel is opulence itself, although it shouldn't even be open in 1927. I forgive Miskatonic for that historical error once I step out of the taxi and into the magnificent hotel. The reception is full of top-hatted porters and suited meeters and greeters. They try me in French until they realize I speak no French. I have 100 skill points unallocated. I should put some into learning French, or getting around Paris will be more difficult than it needs to be. The hotel is all cool marble floors, glittering chandeliers, gilt chairs and onyx tables. Lots of rich-looking NPCs sit around conversing in French, but also English, with a mix of accents. I hear British, Standard, Irish, North American and Australian, or maybe New Zealand. The hotel reception rooms are enormous. Dr. Sally and I stand on the huge mahogany reception desk. Behind it are rows of pigeonholes for room keys stuffed with messages for the guests occupying those rooms. The reception smells of beeswax, coconut hair products and ladies' perfume. It is warm. Sally fans herself with the menu she picked up from the reception top. The elegant hotel clerk with his waxed black moustache and heavy eyebrows is graciousness itself as he greets us. Sir and Madame, I welcome you to the Hôtel Georges V, the newest and most comfortable of all the grandes maisons in Paris. We grin. He raises only one of his eyebrows. And Sir and Madame, Mr. and Mrs., or should I say Reverend and Madame? He knows Catholic priests can't marry, so his programming is extensive enough to realize I'm Anglican. I shake my head anyway. Sally smiles. We'd like a suite, please, at least 2 bedrooms with a lounge and a desk. As if to explain, she adds, we'll need to do some studying. She glances at me as she says that. Of course, Madame. He's looking at her now. I don't blame him. Sally nods, pauses, places her index finger against the bottom lip and says, and can we leave things locked in the hotel safe for security? Of course. Do you have anything you'd like to give me now? I can secure it in a jiffy. Not now, but we might in future. I say, we might. The suite the bellboy shows us up to is as grand in architecture and furnishings as the rest of the hotel. We have a lovely view from the east-facing window onto Avenue Georges V. The 1920s cars trundle along below, and elegant pedestrians in their best clothes promenade on the boulevards. After messing around until she's satisfied with the room, Sally says, so, you want to look for the Alchemist Shop? I nod. I've invested a huge proportion of my skill points into alchemy as I've levelled up. Probably too many, as most of the rest of my skills are pretty poor, but it means I can make a range of potions. She says, fine, but first I want to check out the Occult Shop just off Boulevard Raspail, near the Luxembourg Gardens. I'm sure you'll find an alchemy shop on the way. We leave the hotel and saunter through Paris sunshine. Once again I marvel at the detail. The trees are in full leaf and birds tweet from them. Street sellers sell balloons and ice creams and pastries. Most of this is just dressing, but there are players walking through the crowds who aren't concealing their blue floaty names. If you don't want other players to know you, you can switch your name off. Otherwise, it's there for all to see. Mine is off. Out of curiosity, I check the social panel. Lots of names of players and quests scroll past, hundreds of them with the profession icons. I recognize some of the icons now, priests, assassins, mages, private eyes, doctors, but Sally and I are engaged in our own private mission. We don't need to join a group. I switch off the social panel and look around at Paris. There are plenty of shops around that sell everything you might need, including furniture stores and light stores for those players who purchased an apartment and want to kit it out. For the average player, there are the more practical gun stores and equipment stores. We pass a car showroom selling Citroens and Renaults. Players run some stores, you know, Sally says. Really? I think I knew that. The thought suddenly occurs to me to set up my own alchemy shop, sell potions and grow rich. But then that would just be falling into the trap of playing the game while the world ends. Can't give in like I'm a regular player. I'm on a mission here after all. We walk down the Boulevard Raspail and onto a side street where we find the Librairie Ésotérique and step over the threshold to a darker, cooler space. All around stand tall bookshelves of ancient-looking texts reaching up to the ceiling. The place smells of must, old leather and patchouli oil. If a bell is rung on our entry, I don't hear it, but something summons a thin, nervous-looking man in a white shirt and waistcoat from the bowels of the shop. He speaks in French. Sally prattles away with him and he shows her a particular volume. I stand while they talk. They're both engrossed, so I look at the books, running my finger along their spines. I can read the titles of the French ones, but little else. I have more luck deciphering the Latin, 60 points in that, and German, 25 points in that. The books include Librum Nagar, Voyage à l'Est, Le Manuscrit de la Révélation Hermétique, Le Grimoire de l'Alkidre, Le Mystère des Cathédrales, Le Livre de la Vision Persistentielle, De Cultu Magna Piscium. I remember my basic clairsentience skill. I have 30 points in it that I put in with Madame Sosostris back in London. As I switch it on, I see the books glow faintly blue. Magic. When my attention wanders back to Sally, I see her nodding, apparently about to buy the big tome. Sally turns with a grin. With Preston's generous donation into my bank account, I can buy what I want. She taps the cover. This one has some rare shadow spells. I say, I don't know much about magic. I have a few spells, but very low level. She says, you know you can learn new spells from grimoires, right? I shrug. I didn't know. How long have you been playing this game? Not long. Weeks. Right, so you majored in alchemy. Yeah, majorly. She laughs. You must know you can learn new alchemical recipes from books. No? She raises her eyebrows. Blimey, I'll have to teach you a thing or two. I muse that could be interesting and possibly pleasant, but I don't speak my thoughts out loud. I'll buy you a little present then, she says. She speaks to the shop owner again in French, and I follow as he leads her to the alchemy section. She converses, smiles, peruses the books he hands her, and finally gives me one. It's small, much smaller than hers, and quite thin. The faded, gilt-tooled lettering on the old black leather cover reads, La Vision Alchemique. Sally says, so you commit skill points to it like you would with an NPC or player teacher, then you learn the recipes. I frown, but it's in French. Ah, she says, and converses with the shopkeeper again. He shrugs apologetically, looking very French. I don't understand exactly, but she seems to say that it wasn't a problem, but then she turns and says, I asked him whether he has teach yourself French, but he doesn't. Strictly occult, you see. That's fine. Learn French somehow. Read your alchemy book. Easy. Anyway, let's find your potion shop.